Hello everyone and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be our Whip It Wednesday. We are still working on our starly. Let me show you. I have my pattern and all printed out right here. This is the starly. See if I can get it where you can see it there. This is a fabulous, I think so anyway, quilt. It's absolutely beautiful. All of the colors. Now, you choose your own colorway that you want to use. And I think it's fabulous, though. You learn how to do half square triangles, flying geese. I will have to do flying geese this next step. I showed you on my weekly update where I was. I already had the corner units done. And I'm going to tell y'all, I came in today fully anticipating on coming in and starting recording. I ate and took a nap. I'm sorry. It is now almost 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, I took a nap from about 5 to 7:30. I guess I needed it, but it is what it is. So now we're going to get to sewing. I needed a nap, though, so not that I had a long, hard day at work or anything. I didn't. But, sometimes you're just tired. But I've got our corner blocks done. Now this is our flying geese in our center unit. So let's see. I need to find pieces first so I can do this. Okay, so it looks like the first thing I'm going to do is draw a diagonal line on my background squares. I need to see which ones these are. And I've got 4 of them. So I am going to draw my lines. So we have our lines drawn on our background pieces. We had 4 of those. We are making our flying geese unit now. And we are taking, I believe this is going to be my larger of the 2. So I am to take my larger of my 2 colors, because we have 2 colors and then you have a background. This is my main color and this is my second color, and it's a smaller. So what we are going to do is take, and notice I drew my lines on the sides there. That's because that's going to be my stitch line. I will need to change out my presser foot. I am putting my 1C presser foot back on because I like having that. The 1C has like a mark in the middle of it, kind of like where your stitch line is going. So what we are going to do is just pair up our fabrics. I will do one on the top corner and one on the bottom corner. But the first thing I'm going to do is just stitch down that first one now. So I will put my second square on after we get this first one. Closer I get this first one on, we'll do that. Okay, so when I put my second square on, I'm going to raise that corner of the one that's on there up just a little bit, and so I can line them up, but I'm evening up the edges down here on the bottom. Okay, so now I need to stitch down the opposite side now. Okay, so we get that needle into the fabric there. And then we just follow it all the way through to the other end. I have the other two that I will be putting on the opposite direction. So first, the next thing I do is have to trim down the center of this block so I can press it out. So I'm going to trim it and press it and bring you right back. We have these two units completed there. So now we are to put the next square right here on this corner. And I will tell y'all, I know you can do flying geese without a flying geese ruler. I have done it, but it is so much easier when you have a ruler that does the flying geese. So what we are going to do is stitch down and then stitch on the way back up, and on both units we'll do that. Okay, we have our flying geese pressed and trimmed out, so these are done. So our next step is using our background and the same color as our flying geese, so the same fabric as that. We will use that and do the same exact thing. So it's kind of a reverse from what we did before. Before we had the big square of this color with the background, and now we're doing the background as the big square and the colored as the corner pieces. Now we have our second set of flying geese completed. We're also to do our last set of these squares to the white background. last set of flying geese are done. So now we are going to assemble a block. And y'all, I just noticed we have been doing this. It's over an hour. So I'm going over my limit tonight. So, but I guess that's okay. But y'all are going to get a highly edited version here. And, because I know y'all don't want to see me doing all my cutting and pressing because you can't. I'm on the other side of the machine here. So what we are doing, we're taking 2 of our flying geese. One is a reverse flying geese and one is a flying geese. Let's see if I can get this to start without bunching up. Yes. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do all 4 units, the first 2 blocks, or first 2 flying geese units. And that's going to be this unit and this unit. The 2 with the same colored fabrics. We're going to put those together because what that's going to do is make like an arrow. It looks like an arrow. And I hope to be getting more of these completed over the weekend. This is just what I'm working on during the week, so that's why it is my Whip It Wednesday. I am so ready to get on something different. That's why I have so many projects going on, is because I don't do well doing the same thing over and over. So I do like to have a little variety in what I'm doing. But right now with this, I just want to get this one done because I'm down to like 5 blocks and that is it. But it roughly takes about an hour to do a block. If I have everything marked, it takes about an hour. And if I'm not fighting with the thread cutter on my machine as well. So what I'm going to do is cut these apart. I'm not even going to press these. I'm just going to go on and sew the other part on it that needs to be on it. So see, we have our little arrow there. And our next block is going to be this flying geese. And we just turn that up, and let me see if I can. It looks like I have something's not cutting right on my machine. So I'm going to have to, I serviced it already, but I don't know what's going on with this. It's just not wanting to cut the thread real well. So I'm going to have to look into that a little bit better to see what's going on. Everything else on it is working perfectly. I mean, nothing else is gone haywire. It's just that thread cutter. And sometimes it'll lock up my gears also. I've had that happen. But I'm sure it's just something simple. Maybe there's something stuck down in the bobbin thing, because I think that's what actually cuts the thread, is down in the bobbin casing. But I will check that out, and because I'm pretty good about you know, not really servicing, but taking care of my machine. I'm pretty good about being able to do that because I do oil it. Bernina is one of those that you have to oil every time before your use, which is not a bad thing for me because when I open it up to oil it, I clean it. And that keeps your machine running in good condition. But I'm thinking I must have something going on in my bobbin housing. Something has to be going on there. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not a big deal. I could cut it on this little thing. I have scissors that I can cut with, and my brother that I just upgraded from did not have a thread cutter either. So it's not a big deal, you know. It was just a perk of having this because I have had other machines that did have it, and I really liked that automatic thread cutter, but that's not a deal breaker for me. Okay, so I have these 4 units completed. What I'm going to do is cut these apart and press them, and I will bring you right back. Now we have our flying geese and center block assembly units. So what I'm going to do is start assembling the block. So stay with me and I'll carry you through that. Now the process to assemble our block. We have, make sure this is your outside corner piece. Because I didn't one time. And turn the other direction. It don't look all that pretty. It really don't. But then we have our centerpiece right here as well. So I'm going to start by doing the first 2 blocks or first 2 squares of each row. And I may have to pin because I think some of these seams nest. Get my pins out here. And I want to thank y'all for those that told me what to do for the best press in the ironing situation. I'm using my best press and I'm ironing and I'm not scorching anything. I think probably what it was, my iron was too hot. I did reduce it because someone said to use best press and steam. So I'm using my lowest steam setting, which on the bottom it does say that's for cotton. So I'm thinking I might have had it too high. But I've always used number 6, which is the highest setting, but that's for linen. I didn't realize that. I mean, I'm sure I did realize it, but I've always just used the hottest setting for cotton. I don't know why. I just always have. Something's making a noise here. I wonder if that is my bobbin case because I mean, it's not a bad noise, it's just a rotating noise, but you may be able to hear it, which is kind of, it's an unusual noise. Let's just put it like that. I'm not used to hearing that. It could be my feet also. My feet there. I'll have to check those to make sure. I mean, it looks like everything is fine. I did pause y'all and kind of check my machine to see maybe if something was stuck in the cutter. So when I did that, I might have loosened something up there that I'm not quite aware of. But I will take a look at it. Okay, so the next two is going to be that unit along with our centerpiece. Now, it's got lots of threads on it. I'm just going to put these two together. Okay, and then the last block, we have a corner piece and another unit here. I guess I call that the era unit because that's our flying geese unit actually. Okay. It's got a little thickness there, so I keep what I'm raising that foot for is to help that thickness go under the foot. Because once it gets under the foot, the feed things catch it. I don't know if they got feed dogs or whatever they're called. Catches it and pulls it on through most of the time. Sometimes you have to help it out. But this is pretty thick right here where those two seams come together. Cut and press, and I'll bring you right back. Okay, so I have these units pressed. I wanted to show y'all something. This right here, I know y'all might have heard me talking about the package that's lost in the mail. Oh, not that one. That fabric right there, that's the fabric that I have lost in the mail somewhere. So, yeah. So now we've got to put our last, I need to keep these kind of in order so I don't mix them up. But now I need to put my last block on each row. I'm going to pin these up real good. And yeah, I don't know if I say this enough, but I appreciate each and every one of you that come and watch my channel. And sharing my videos. I greatly appreciate that. Feel free to keep sharing. Feel free to keep watching. Feel free to keep commenting. I love it. Yeah, sometimes y'all don't know how much that just makes my day. To know that, you know, I've provided a little entertainment, if not a little bit of my not so expert knowledge of how I see things. This may not be the way it's supposed to be, but it gets me from point A to point B, and that's the goal right now. So it sounds like I'm going to have to get with my dealer, my Bernina dealer, and see if they can't help me figure out what's going on with this thread cutter. And now my machine sounds funny, but I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is, and I hope I haven't torn anything up, but if I have to carry it in for service, I still got my little old brother back there. I keep it. If that one won't work, I got another one that's just an old sewing machine that is the one I made my very first quilt on. I still have it, but it's just a sewing machine. It does have an embroidery module on it, but it's like 20 years old. It's outdated. The program, unless it's an embroidery design that's on the machine, I'm not able to put an embroidery design on it because that software is very outdated. making sure I turn my block the correct direction. But we are coming close to the end here. I hope I have not bored you guys to death. But I tell you what, I've enjoyed it. I had me a nice little nap today when I got in. So I am refreshed and ready to sew. And hadn't got anything else done that I needed to do. But doing what I want to do. And aka needs is like house cleaning, housekeeping, which, you know, that'll be here tomorrow too. It'll be here until somebody cleans it or I clean it. I need to start paying my daughter, I guess, to come over and clean. Okay, so now I have these done. I am going to press these and I'll be right back. We now have our 3 rows ready. So I am just going to drop this one down out of the way and just connect the first 2. I'm going to get my directions out of the way too before I knock them all on the ground. So now I have a lot of seams that some will nest, some will just join. But I'm going to try to get them as tight as I possibly can because the block looks really nice if you've got real tight seams and points there. It looks really nice. I will say right now, mine aren't that tight. But you know what? It's going to be beautiful anyway. It's, you know, I'm appreciative that I get to make it. And I'm going to have a beautiful quilt once it is done. And nobody's going to be able to tell unless they are a quilter and they look at it real close. They're not going to be able to see the mistakes on it. I mean, I never looked at any of my grandma's quilts and found mistakes because I wasn't looking for them. Most people aren't looking for mistakes. They just see it's a beautiful quilt. Most people's eyes aren't set to see the details. You know, they're not trained to see things like that. I choose to not see things like that. So this is our first 2 rows. Notice it's got a lot of pins in there because there's a lot of seams that's coming together there. Okay, it quit making that sound. It was making a clackety sound. And when I say clackety, it sounded like the feet, because I did have to drop my feed dogs or whatever those things are called. I did have to drop those to check my cutter out, and I think maybe because I have noticed that when I cut, sometimes I hear it thump, and I think that's what it is though that is stuck. But y'all, I do hope to have a new something on my table before the end of the week. And y'all have seen it come in. I'm not sure which new thing it's going to be yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the green little 12-inch square foundation paper piecing from Shabby Fabrics. I'm sure it's going to be that one because that one is kind of time sensitive, you know. I want it for St. Patrick's Day. You know, it's the little shamrocks. And I would like to have it to put on my mantle for St. Patrick's Day. Okay. So now to our last piece here. making sure everything is pointed correctly. I need to pin. And we will get this one done, and we're almost done. Almost 2 hours later. It took me 2 hours to do this block because I didn't have anything marked, and I think my brain was still napping. But I needed that nap really bad. And now that I don't have children at home, I can nap when I want to. I don't have to clean the house if I don't want to. It gets done, but I do it in my own time. I do it, you know, when you have children in the house, though, it kind of needs to stay cleaned and in order because it can get out of order really fast. And now that they're out of the house, it's kind of gotten out of order really fast. But I started doing a remodel back in 2021, and I got sick, and it took me 6 months to get back to where I could, you know, do it, because we were literally, I took everything out of my kitchen. We were painting the cabinets, we were painting the walls, and yeah, that project's still kind of on hold. I still have stuff stacked in my hallway. I have a corner cabinet that I cannot get anything out of. I just assume not to put anything in that counter. But I got some of those, they're called Reva shelves, and my husband has yet to put those in. But we're kind of on the fence right now about buying another house or just ripping those cabinets out altogether and putting new cabinets in, and like doing a different layout for the kitchen. I just need more light in there. The kitchen does not have a lot of light. It is on the back side of my house, which we have a porch on the back side of our house, and it is under the cover for the carport area, so it doesn't get a lot of light in there. That's why when I do cooking videos, you may not, the lighting is probably bad. Okay, somehow I just broke my thread. If it can happen, it's going to happen tonight, I guess. So, let me see if I can get my thread to come out. I don't know if it's this thread, maybe something. I'm using Aurifil thread. It's what I've always used, the Dove Gray 50 weight. But I've been having trouble with my thread breaking too, but my tension is fine on my machine. So I don't know. I think I have something going on that I'm not aware of, that I don't know is a problem, and I don't know how to fix. So whatever it is, my machine may have to go in for servicing, so y'all may see me sewing on that little old brother again, which ain't nothing wrong with that. I just kind of wore it out really fast. I was already replacing parts on it, and I had just purchased it like in, I'm thinking April or May of last year, maybe. And when we bought this one in October of last year, I was already replacing a lot of parts on it. But it was not one of your, I will say, it was not one of your top of the line brothers. I actually think I've seen this one at Walmart, but I didn't buy this one at Walmart. But I will say there's nothing wrong with buying a machine at Walmart. If that's what you can afford, that's what you can get, buy it. Because my Disney brother that I have, it was purchased at Walmart. And it's almost 20 years old. And it still works. It still sews, but I wanted a quilting machine, one that had a larger neck, and that one has such a tiny neck. But I made a lot of bags on that machine. I did a lot of embroidery on that machine. That machine had made a lot of things. And it made my first grandbaby's quilt. So, it was a good machine. And it still is. I still have it. I mean, if I have to pull it out, I will pull it out. But that will be the machine I teach my grandbabies to sew on. Because I'm going to teach them how to sew. Just like my grandmother and my aunt taught me how to sew, I'm going to teach my grandbabies how to sew. So I'm going to press this and bring it right back so you guys can see it. Okay, this is our completed block here. See if you can see those colors better there. I am using the Fig Tree and Company. It is stitched line, and I'm just using a basic background, just a white background. So guys, we're 2 hours in, so I have seriously broken my rule for sewing during the week. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm going to cut my machine off here. There we go. We got our light better. But guys, I do appreciate you coming and sitting with me while I sew. And I don't know if it's a learning experience or not, but I really do enjoy you coming and being with me. I like chit-chatting with you. A lot of this video, I will edit out a lot because, you know, like I said, it's 2 hours long right now. And I'm not putting out a 2-hour video. You may get a 20 to 30 minute video. 45 at the most, hopefully. I don't like doing videos that long because I know I can't watch them that long either. But guys, if you like this type of content, give me a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, please do. That helps my channel grow. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I do respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Goodbye.